Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is our final video on our end cloth dress that we've created, front and back, looking good. Really like how that turned out. I even showed you how to do the quick rig, which is great if you're doing something really quick. So it's not that fantastic, but it will work for what we want it to do. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to get the end cloth to work properly. Okay. So to do that, we've got to do some creative things, and it's actually, I pre-rigged this before and tested it, and it works out pretty good. Now I haven't done any animation with it. I'm just moving it back and forth for testing, and that's what I'm going to grade you on, is just the testing part. But if you would like to animate the character, you can get 10 extra credit points. If you can do a walk cycle and have that dress stay on, I'll give you 10 extra credit points. Okay? Alright, so that is your challenge for this week. Alright, so alright, here we go. We'll need to add a passive rigid body, or just a passive collider to the body, and then of course the end cloth will go on to the dress. Okay, so that's it. Now we're gonna have to do some tweaking, so let's take a look at the end cloth shape. We've got the collisions, we've got the dynamic properties. These are the two that we have to watch out for. And right now, let's take a look. The first thing that I'm going to do right away is we're going to do the thickness at 0.1. That gives us the best looking. And is it going to let us do it? Let's see here. Collision thickness. Okay, I guess maybe having a hard time getting caught up here. So I guess I can't see the thickness. Let's see if it's actually working. So let's go ahead and play simulation. There we go. It is working, it just wasn't highlighting. Okay, there we go. So we can see the thickness, and that works out pretty good with what we have there. There we go. That's great. So I just had to simulate it, I guess. Right. So we're gonna add 500 frames. There we go. Okay, so we want to do a silky dress. Okay, that's kind of what we're trying to go for with this type of dress. So what I'm gonna do is, I know the simulation is working. Let's go ahead and play it. You can see it hanging, but it's bouncing around like crazy, and that's not what we want. Okay, so the idea here now is to go in there and do a preset, and we're going to do where are you? Silk. There it is. Silk replace. Okay. Notice that a couple things have changed. Now the thickness hasn't changed because we set that ourselves. Friction has changed. Okay, so I am going to do the same amount of friction that I have for the silk dress. So I'm going to do 0.5 on there. Now if the silk dress kind of slips off, then we need to make changes. Now is that 0.5 or is that 0.05 on the dress? 0.05. Okay, so let's do 0.05. Add a 0 there. There we go. Great. And then that's collisions, and we gotta go down. Whoops. Rigid shape. That's, yeah. So let's go back into here. And we notice the stretch resistance has gone up. So it's not stretchy, so we shouldn't see any bounciness now. Compression resistance is the same. Rigidity, shear resistance. Now if we see a lot of shearing, we can kind of mess around with that. If we have some issues with this, then we can also mess with that, bring that down a little bit. But right now, let's take a look at what we have. Okay, see that it drops. Okay, and that's okay. I don't see any. I'm getting close now. I don't see any parts coming through, so that's really a great sign. That's wonderful. Congratulations. If you don't see it ripping through or it falling through after 500 frames, you're good to go. It's trying on the top. See, it's kind of flashing when we get far away, and that could be just the preview renderer. But it's chugging away, but it's doing a good job. It's working. I'm running about 10 frames a second in real time, which is not bad for this character and the class simulation. So, alright, that's really good. Pretty happy with that. So I'm going to stop it. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. Alright, so we're ready for the animation. So what we could do is we could run the simulation until it stops moving around, and then we can go ahead and go to initial set for selected. So we can do that. Remember how to do that. So we can do the initial states set for selected, and that will set that particular in that state. So let's go ahead and drop it one more time and just let it sit there for a while before it stops bouncing around. And we'll stop at about 150, and that should be good. Okay. Alright, so that's close enough. So we have it selected. And we're going to go to Fields and Solvers and go to Initial State and Set for Selected. There we go. And that should have done it. So let's go back and see if it did. Yes, it did. So that's great. Fantastic. So we got it all set up. The simulation is working perfect. So before we do any animation and everything goes flying apart, then let's go ahead and save our scene. Save scene as. And then we're going to do a test, a very simple, very smooth test. And that's what you're going to turn in. And then I'm going to show you some animation, maybe move the arms and move it back and forth, see if we can break it. And if that's the case, we can't, then I want you guys to know that you have an option to do a small character animation if you want of the character. And it can be anything you want, as long as you don't tear the dress off. You'll get your 10 points. Okay. Try to be as professional as you can. Try to make the animation look good as good as it possibly can. And if you've taken character animation, it shouldn't be hard to do that. You guys can do a walk cycle if you want to, and you might be able to put it in your portfolio if you can get it to look good. So anyway, in cloth, it's tough. It's tough to do, and so it's kind of going to be a cool thing if you can get some animation with it. So I'm going to put this in, and we're going to start simulating. So I'm going to put in 9, and then underneath, right next to rig, I'm going to put simulation. So alright, we're going to do a quick animation with it. Okay, to test it, we're going to move it back and forth a couple times, and then front and back, and then side to side. So we are going to do not the hips. We won't do that just yet. We're going to do, where is it? Left foot effector. Trying to find the main effector. I think, is that it? That's it right there. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Alright, so we're going to set a keyframe here. And we can start moving her right away because we've already got the cloth set. Initial state. Okay. Alright, so let's move it forward like that. Okay, just a smooth transition to see if it can follow it. Set. And then we're going to go to frame 60, and we're going to set it so we just stop, let it kind of react to that movement. And then we're going to go to frame 90, okay, and move it back. I'm not quite sure if I got that right. Okay, I think that's right. Nope. Okay, so push that back a little bit. Alright. I guess I should have looked at that before. Oh, I know what I can do. Go back to 0, and you can see the number set up here. So I can just go ahead and copy that and paste that in here. Here we go. That gives me the same. There we go. That'll work. And then we're going to wait for 30 frames for the next one. Okay, so it'll stop for 30 frames. We'll go to 150 and then move it to the side like that. Set that. Go to 180. Set it. Just have it stop. And then we want to go to 210 and move it back. We're going to move it back all the way over here. This will be a little bit farther to go. Set that and see what happens at 240. Set it, and then 270 will go back to where it was. So again, we can go over here, copy, and 270, paste. There we go, and set the key. Alright, so we have animation now, and let's see if it works. Whoa. Okay, so we got some movement. Alright, so that can be an issue, and I ran into that before. And let me check something here. I did a quick screenshot of this. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got shear resistance, and I ran into, this was my preliminary piece that I did, which looks a lot worse than what I have, but that was just a test, and I did find that I needed to change the shear resistance to 0.5. This is what I ended up having with my the settings that I had. So you can take a look at what I have here and see if that works for you guys. If it doesn't, you know, I did a thickness too here, which surprises me because I did 1 on there, so that might help a little bit. Just gives you a little more the collision layer, a little bit more space to move around in. So let's go in here. Alright, so let's take a look at that. Let's see if that'll help. Alright, so let's go back into this. Yeah, thickness I had at 0.2, so let's do that. And then I did a shear resistance at 0.5. There we go. I think that'll help. So let's go ahead and play that animation again. Turn that off so you can kind of see what's going on. Get a little bit closer. Go ahead and play it. It shifts up. Okay, and it doesn't fall down. So that kind of movement, it shifted up and it got stuck. So I think maybe turn the friction off on the clothing. Okay. And that sometimes happens. I've seen that happen. So I think that has to do with how far we moved it, how fast we moved it. So we have to do it maybe a little bit slower. Maybe the stretch resistance is too heavy. Let's turn that down to 0. Self-colliding, that's fine. I don't know if it's getting stuck on itself or other things. I'll turn that down to 0. Stickiness is off. Okay, collision strength is 1. Collision layer. Thickness is 2.2. Let's turn this down to 40. Let's play the simulation again. It actually seems like it was worse. Alright, stop that. It's like paint drying, I know, I understand. I get it. So, stretch resistance, let's go... it was 60, let's do 80 then. Let's see if that helps at all. There we go. It's trying to come down. Just came up a little bit. I think we're on the right track. That's for sure. Okay, cool. Alright, we're on the right track. Compression resistance. Let's go up to 20 on that. We're getting there. See how it looks. Very interesting. Okay, cool. Right, it worked. So kind of mess around with that compression resistance. Maybe instead of 10 to maybe to go 15. Don't worry, it's not going through the body because when we get close, you see it. It's just, I think it's a preview that looks like it's going through. It's not. It's just a preview. All right, so. And don't worry, I'll be watching. You can really tell if it does go through. Alright, so that's the play blast that I want you to send to me. Now, I believe it's only 270 frames. So let's go ahead and do 300 on that. I just move that down like that. And this is what you're going to turn in. So just click that off, go show, none, show, polygons. And you can do the play blast like so. Play blast. Okay, come on, don't crash on me now. For crying out loud. Jeepers. Okay, let me stop that. It, for some reason, was going when it wasn't supposed to go. Here we go. Click off anywhere. Let's try it again. Alright, everything looks good. We don't need 4 because we're not in the thousands, we're only in the hundreds, so we'll do 3, and then where are we going to send it to? Always put your name, your first initial, last name, and we can call it dress test or something like that. And I'm going to copy that, Control C, and browse and put it on the desktop. I usually like doing that because that's, I know exactly where it is. Control V on that. Save it and then play blast, and I'll go ahead and pause it because this will take a while. Okay, it looks like I got it and it's working, so let's go ahead and play it so you guys can see it. A little bouncy. Okay. Perfect. That's good. Alright, so now, if you want, I'll go ahead and take off the animation. I'm going to do a leg test here real quick. Take all this animation out. So alright, so nothing's on there anymore. Okay. Right, so now let's go ahead and do the animation for the feet. Let's see. Right ankle. There we go. Good. See what that does. So right ankle. So let's go ahead and set that keyframe. And we'll move it slowly up. Like this. Just to see if it works. And then back down again. Copy. Paste, paste. Here we go. And then the left ankle. Left ankle effector. Here we go. So on frame 60, set that. Frame 90, move that up. And let's go ahead and take that, copy that, paste, paste. There we go. Alright, let's see what we got here. That looks great. It's looking really good. Cool. And then we'll do a twist effect. Let's go back and then go to 150. Actually, I'll go to frame 120. Where is the hip effector? I don't know about that. Hip effector. There we go. I want to rotate that like that. Cool. Let's see if that'll work. So frame 120, 150, rotate the body this way, set a key, and then rotate the body back, kind of in the middle, set a key, and then rotate this way, and set a key. Oops. Cool. Alright, see if this works now. Leg up. Leg down. Leg up. Twist. Twist back. Huh. That looks great. Working good. And we gotta twist it back. Alright, so frame 240, twist it back. Here we go. Let's go ahead and, where do we start at? Right here. Copy and paste. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so second animation I want you guys to do is the leg up and down, both legs up and down, and then twist back and forth. And we're going to do one last one here. Since we did the hip effector, we're going to go side to side. 270, we're going to go side like that. To side. Alright. And then we're going to go a little bit longer, maybe 400 frames. Okay. So 330, we are back where we started. Back on the track again. Okay. Alright, cool. Alright, so we'll start from the beginning. I'll go ahead and do a play blast. Click off, and we will do one more play blast with the legs and everything set up. And if you do a character animation, if you want 10 extra credit points, try to have her walk. Do a walk cycle. And I'll have more details on what I want for extra credit, what you need to do. But the dress looks like it's not ripping apart, so that's really good news. And if you do a walk cycle, it should be fine. So, looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and do a play blast of what the second animation I want you to do. Everything looks good to where we had it. We just need to change the name. So, go in here. I think that's module 11. It's late here. I gotta take a look, make sure. I think that's 11. Yes, module 11. Dress test 2. Alright, great. Perfect. And play blast. So I'll stop this. Okay, that's looking really good. Let's go ahead and play the animation so you can see it. Alright, so this is our second animation, the play blast that you're going to create for me. And to make sure the dress is following along. It looks really great. Awesome. Congratulations. Did a great job, and I will see you guys in the next module, module 12, where we start kind of playing with the hair simulation and do some hair. Look forward to seeing you guys then, and have a great week.